This Eastlake table is in pretty rough condition. It has a broken piece of trim. There's some corner work that is missing. I took a really small drill bit and I drilled holes into the center of those broke off pieces of trim. And then I took a nail and I hammered a nail into the drill bit holes that I made. Then I'm going to take a slightly larger drill bit and drill holes into the centers of where the trim piece was broken off on the table. And then I took my nails and I pushed them through the holes to sort of dry fit it, because at this point I really wasn't even sure if this repair was going to work or not. Fortunately, it did. So I added some wood glue into the holes and then I stuck my trim piece back into the little drill bit holes and let everything dry. Eastlake was common during 1870 through 1890, so this table is approximately 150 years old. I'm not looking for perfection. It's old and it has a lot of character marks as it is. Being that it is so old, I wanted to do my best to save this trim piece and be able to make it work back with the design. The top corner had a lot of saw marks in it and I needed to repair that, and I'm using an all-purpose Bondo. The Bondo dries very quickly, and once it is completely dry you are able to sand it. There also was a large crack on the top that I filled with Bondo as well. I added some quickwood epoxy around the break on the trim piece, and this will just help stabilize that a little bit better. Quickwood epoxy is extremely hard when it dries. Off camera, I sanded my Bondo smooth on my top surface as well as my corner. And then I cleaned the whole entire piece with some simple green cleaner and water. And I rinsed it all off with the hose and made sure I removed all of the excess gunk and oil on this table prior to painting the top.
So yucky.
Because of all of the imperfections and repairs, I'm going to be painting and decoupaging the top. I'm using this cashew color from Waverly chalk paint and painting the top surface. I'm using polyurethane one coat as my decoupage adhesive. I'm applying a layer and I'm working in sections. I'm being careful to make sure my paper is straight and even and it's not crooked in any way before I take my piece of, I'm actually using a sandwich bag here, and any type of plastic will work, saran wrap, cellophane, something like that. And I'm taking that and I'm rubbing that gently on the paper to press the paper into the sealer. This helps avoid any tearing. It helps smooth the paper wrinkles out much better than your fingers. And I also like to mist my paper with water. I make sure I pull back my paper slightly further than where I have already applied my sealer. That way I can ensure I get my decoupage adhesive underneath my paper because I'm working in sections. Hopefully that makes sense. To disguise my Quickwood epoxy repair, I'm using a small amount of some brown chalk paint and painting over the epoxy. This will just blend it all in with the original wood color, and you can't even tell it's been repaired. When my decoupage paper was completely dry, 100% dry off camera, I slightly sanded off all of the excess around the edges. And then I'm applying that same sealer that I used as my medium over the top of my paper. And I'm applying 2 coats. I did have some imperfections and a couple of tears. So to kind of hide those little blemishes, I'm using some brown antiquing wax and I'm going over top of the whole entire paper to make everything more aged and kind of hide those imperfections and those tears in the paper. Where my tears are, I did apply the wax a lot thicker. And let's have a quick look at the before we check out the final reveal. This table was just in really bad condition before, and I wanted to keep as much of the original 150-year-old details as I possibly could. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I hope I've inspired you today, and I hope I've earned your subscription. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day as well. Bye!